Hello, everybody. It's Friday, February 6th, and I'm excited to be coming on live today for episode number 2 of the Magician series that I've been doing. And today we are going to be chatting with one of my favorites, Marcella Kroll. So we're going to bring her on and we're going to talk about all the things. Marcella is an artist, mystic, and spiritual teacher. If you're not familiar with her work bridges contemporary art, divination, and lived spiritual practice. She's celebrated for her transformative work as a multiracial autistic artist, intuitive teacher, occult practitioner, and author. So we're going to bring her on and talk about all the really badass shit she's doing right now, which I think we all need, a little inspiration. All right. Let's see. This is working. Okay. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? It's nice to see
I'm
you.
It's so nice to see you as well. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's been a week.
Yes, it has, but it's been I feel like oh gosh, I saw you in October, right? Yeah.
Was that October?
I
Okay,
was
yes.
yeah, it's yeah, there's just been so much, right? In such a There always is something though, but I was so excited just tuning in. I was like, thank you.
No,
Excited to be here. I'm very grateful. So,
I'm very grateful to have you. I put this together because I started receiving the message in 2024 and I really didn't want to hear it. And I was like, back off, girl. But really through 2025, it was a big message of everything's changing and the way that I do my work is going to change and the way I interact with people is going to change. And all the things that I had built my business on,
yes.
it was disintegrating and I was trying to hold on to it. And
Yeah.
one of the things I really noticed, it seems like you experienced that as well. And you're a lot
Yeah.
further ahead of me of the things that you're doing to kind of
I think,
build that. Like you stepped away from one-on-one readings this
yeah, well,
year.
similar to what you were saying, and I think a big part of that was like the Saturn and Pisces
Yeah.
transit. Like Neptune and Pisces had been doing this whole other thing. But when Saturn went into Pisces in, what was it, 2023, everything started to like shift in a way, like there was these silent kind of nudges
Yeah.
that things were percolating and needing to change, but like there was no like map of how to do it. And I feel like that's very much my reality with everything. Is like over here, but we're not going to show you how. Go figure it out.
Go figure it
So
out.
the nudge of like, even when I started doing readings, you know, not even just for myself, but like when I started doing reads more professionally, there was a lot of this nudge, like just go do it, even though there's no format, there's no ones telling you how, and having to really lean into that unknown and trust. And it's the same thing. It started to happen in 2023 with like, you should probably back off doing personal sessions. And it's so hard to like let go of something. I went full time. I started doing readings professionally. I've been doing them word of mouth over the years, right? But then in 2008, I actually filed like a business, license with
Yes.
Ella in LA because I was there for 18 years. But in 2008, January of 2008, I filed my business license, and then I went full time in 2009, and nobody was doing that, and everyone told me I
No.
was crazy. And then so I started getting that nudge again, and I was like ignoring it because that's a long
Yeah.
time. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Was like, I have a GED. I didn't go to school. There's a lot of things that, to leave that behind, and that identity was kind of terrifying. So I took breaks, and I kept taking breaks, but then it kept being like harder and harder. And then finally this past year, it was just like, no, you just have to be done. And
Yeah.
literally trust falling and, you know, into this new space, but also feeling like, no, you got to go deeper with what you're offering, teaching wise. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be the expert on anything. Like, like, I don't love that. I don't love that because I'm always learning. So it's hard for me to take this role of knowing, and that, because I, even when I teach, I like to be, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge part of also what we're stepping into. Like,
Yes.
you're seeing this with like people are like death of the guru,
Yeah.
like no more of this, no more of that. And I think there is some very real um theories in that, but I don't think that means death of, people with leadership or experience, kind of helming the ship a little bit. It's not hierarchy, it's just guideship. Of course, my dog is trying to get out right now. um, we'll just let her find her way.
Oh,
So,
well,
but
if you
yeah,
if you need to attend to her, please please
she'll
do.
be all right. I might have to let her out of the room.
That's fine.
Okay. But yeah, but I'm happy to be here and I'm glad that you started this series and, featuring different, I guess, different folks from different corners of the world, right?
Yes, I mean, being in the publishing sphere has, in different capacities, because I'm self-published and I'm also traditionally published.
Mhm.
So I've got to meet all of these people that are making these incredible creations, but
Right,
also, again, like you said, the death of the guru. But there's all of these very people I really trust. You
right,
meet people and you have this connection and you see what they're doing. And it's like, I feel like there need to be more light shed on who can you really trust
right. And there's
when you
a,
need, because people need to, like, what you're offering and what you've created and what you are creating are things that I really value. And I think that other people need to just know about that. And
thank you.
thank
Thank
you
you.
for the things that you're doing. It's
Well, and I think there's this beauty, right? We both have that experience of self-publishing and then publishing and knowing like the ins and outs of both
yeah.
kind of worlds of navigating that. And I think when you self-publish, you build these relationships out of, for lack of a better word, like vibes, feelings,
Yeah.
professionalism, but also just like ethics. You get to kind of cornerstone that for yourself. And, you know, in a way that maybe just jumping in, there's just so much to learn always. And I just really want to emphasize that, like, I love being able to be a space where people can be seen and held and not judged for where they're at. Like,
Yes, this is
you know,
not a, sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, it's okay. I'm gonna let her out because she's
Yes,
scratching. Let me do that real quick.
absolutely. Yeah, this is also, the people that I've met are in this industry have been very kind,
Hmm.
supportive, and very open and willing to help and not gatekeep. And I feel like there's a lot of, like, mean girls in any
Oh yeah.
industry, but we're not that. And I
I
feel
try
like I
not to
recognize,
be.
I don't know, and I didn't find you to be that way at all. And it's, it's intimidating. Like you say, you want to, you're this space for people to not feel judged, but
Right.
from their perspective and from, my
Yeah.
perspective of where I've been and when I'm, it's intimidating to meet people that have already been walking their path.
And I think there's also just this, I mean, there's a few things I have to say. There's definitely mean girls. There's definitely like kind of clickiness and like this kind of protective quality that some people have, I think, of their communities and spaces, and I totally get it. I think in the beginning I had a lot of fear around, because at the time, like especially in the beginning of my work, and then more people kind of started appearing, but especially around like 2015, and then again like these other waves of people in 2020. And early on, like a lot of fear for myself, and this probably comes up for people, about enough, there being enough, and
Yes.
also visibility and being seen is really
Yes.
scary.
Yes.
um Also, going through different things, like doing this not sober, and then doing this sober for the
Mm.
last almost, I'm going on almost 10 years now, sobriety. So like people have seen uh the progression, so nobody's perfect. The beautiful thing about, I think, this work is that if you really are diving in, you can grow, you can shift, you can change. Are you ever healed? No, not totally. Are you perfect? No, you shouldn't be. We're fallible. And I think that's the one thing too, is there's such a, we have to remember that we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna mess up. We're gonna do things that other people maybe don't understand. Or it's not just like talking nonsense and talking apologies, but it's how you show up, you know, um, in practice, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
can be all alone in our solo covens, or in doing our thing. But if we're out in the world and we actually don't know how to engage with each other, or we don't put things into practice, we can retreat right away or feel, overwhelmed. There's just so much to go on. I thought it was really interesting. I just want to share with you. I pulled from my new deck that's coming out. There, I wanted to pull a card to kind of just see what's something we could talk about, like, today. And I actually pulled the Eon. I'll show you. This is the Eon.
Oh, I love the artwork. I cannot wait to get my hands on this deck. So I
Yes.
can like checking the
Yay.
mail. Like,
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know you should have it like any moment. Adam Smith is the artist on it. He's a dear friend. He's a tattooer. He's a fellow magician. We did our Egyptian initiations in Egypt in 2022, and that's kind of where the premise of this deck, where it was formed. But this card specifically is about co-creation, and particularly like the magic and the mundane, and knowing that you are a part of that, and how we do that in our day to day, as on our persons, but then also within our communities, whether they are in person or online, in those things. So I thought that was quite fitting for us connecting today. um because that's been something I've been leaning more into, is more of this collaborative practice. And one-on-ones, yes, they can be collaborative, but I don't know, there's just this depth of creating something like that magician card, like bringing all those things together to create something new. um and I think that coming together in this way of holding space in a like with the depth oracle program that I'm offering, um getting people to trust in their own vessel, getting
yes.
people to feel themselves be the oracle as the archetype, not just something that they go, oh, I'm just going to pull out my cards, or I'm just going to pull out my pendulum. But like, this is a way of being, and it's not for everybody to like live this way. But there are people that I feel like stepping into this role, even if they're not doing readings, they are these types of space holders, and they need to be able to feel solid within this physical vehicle while also bringing in information or holding energy in space. And that's why, I'm offering it. So, yeah.
And that starts on the 28th, correct? Your like very first
The first,
inaugural
yeah,
cohort. That's so exciting. That was
I'm
another
really
reason why I was like,
excited.
I need to get you on here before
Yeah.
like all this stuff launches. Like it feels like you just have all this stuff that's like coming forth over the
Well, and
next
it's,
couple of months.
yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting transition, right? Because um even when I decided that I was going to stop doing one-on-ones, I hadn't decided that I was going to do this offering.
Mm,
It was one of those things that it was like, I I don't know what's coming next, but
yeah.
something has to come in, but I need to make the space for it first and trust. And everything was just like, take the leap, take the leap. I'm like, oh, this is terrifying. And then, you know, going into this idea of a 10-week cohort, um, I am really just excited to bring together a place where the thing I've noticed with people is they're feeling kind of disenchanted
Yeah,
with what's out there and having to sift and navigate through all of the offerings and the things,
it's
and that
daunting.
it can be daunting. And also, like, there's I felt like there's price points for everything.
Yeah.
And some stuff is accessible for some but not for others. And I wanted to create something that felt like it was accessible, but it wasn't like a throwaway thing where you're going to sign up and then not show up, right? So there's the intimacy of a smaller group, but there's also this beautiful thing about being able to be held and be witnessed by your peers. And um I've noticed that people, like I said, feeling disenchanted but still connected to magic, but wanting to find their way back to it. And that feels like really important during this time. And I know that because of my own feelings towards a lot of spiritual work and what's out there and how things have been.
Yeah.
So
No, I love it. Yeah, and I
yeah.
looked at your I looked at your sales page and I thought it was brilliant, and I was honestly shocked at your price. I was like, "Holy shit, like people get on this now." Like this
It's
is
a
I
scary
thought it
time
was
for
a
people to commit.
yes. Yes, it's a scary time for them to commit, but this is I thought that it was like a really great value.
Thank you
Like
so
I thought
much.
like I did like a deep dive onto all of the things, and I think like for anybody who's, interested in, working with you in this new capacity, like a great way for them to maybe dip a toe in is I think tonight you're doing
Mhm.
you're doing a virtual class with Ritual Craft.
Yes.
Let's
Tonight
talk
I'm
about that too.
doing,
Get sign up tonight,
yeah,
guys. Like you have a couple hours, like get on it. Ritual
yeah,
Craft is
tonight.
amazing. I lived in Denver for a couple of years and went there
Oh,
all the
nice.
time.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, Ritual Craft has been like home away from home for years now. I started off going to the smaller location and teaching, and then now in their current location, teaching there periodically. And it's always a stop on the map for me. So I really enjoy being like a teacher on their in their school. Tonight it's an opening to receive ritual and conversation, just kind of meditation conversation. And it's not just about manifesting, it's not just about like receiving money or resources, while those things are good and important, but it's also about being open to receiving through that creative channel, through inspiration. Like receiving hits all ends of the spectrum. It's not just
Yes.
money, you know?
Right.
Um, so, I'm really looking forward to that. That's this evening. And then I'm also doing my first full on retreat in a couple of weeks out in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. That's fully booked, but I'm definitely going to do it again based on the altar within, like, ourselves and being
Mm,
the offering. So I just want to really show up more in a capacity to like empower you to go do the best you, not do the
yeah.
best me through you, but do the best you through you. And that's really why I feel like the work that I do is here, even down to like decks or books. It's not about you doing things my way. It's about you doing things your way confidently and with good conscience. So,
Which I think really translates. And I think that's what people are really needing right now. Not only to, like find you to work with you, but also seeing that like they can do this in their own way.
right. I tell people all the time, and I really learned this from my teen students. I taught tarot for teens for 14 years with the LA Public Library, and it was one of the most educational, like, learning experiences for me, because really working with teens, they are ruthless. They will tell you like it is, and they'll also be really touching and moving in the way that they share how they learn. But one of the ways we come to learn, we were talking about it through the realm of like music. Even like
Mm.
you can, like an instrument, you can learn how to play it traditionally, or you can find your own style and your own rhythm, and you can show up in your own expression. And that's a lot of this stuff too. Like your spiritual connection is just as unique as, you know, you are, or being like able to pick up an instrument. So,
Yeah.
you know, everyone can access it, but how you do it is truly your, you know, your expression.
Yes. And I think like the offerings that you've created in all of these different ways are helping kind of guide people to that instead of like learn it by the book. It's like here
Mhm.
I'm a live human caring person that's going
Right.
to help you wield your own magic and your own channel and let it
Yeah.
talk to you.
And that's one of the things too we're coming up against with, like, you know, people are scared of AI and all of those things. And I get it. I understand. But like one of the things we even, part of why I'm doing this program too is because like AI can only like give you what you've fed it or what has already happened. Like it's not a human connection. It can't predict the future. It does not have soul. It literally is just an echo chamber of things that have already happened. So trying to remind people of their human connectedness, you know, and especially when it comes to the intuition and when it comes to trusting the symbolism and the things like that, I think we get so as a society and as a like consumer society or people wanting things on demand, I think there. Turn on your hand reactions. No, thank you. Because I started talking with my hands. Um, so crazy. But you know, like you're just not gonna get those things from, you know, like a generated, auto-generated, like, you know, machine that you would with
Right.
a person. So, and I'm not anti technology. I love technology. I'm Aquarius rising. I love the future. I always have, like in terms of futuristic things. But I don't believe abandoning the human for, you know, the expansion of the, that makes no sense.
Absolutely. And I think too, it's been disheartening to see people who are wanting to either that have a spiritual business or are wanting to become professionals and not understanding marketing and how to market and just
Mhm.
seeing like just the way that just for because we're on Instagram, so talking about the barrage
Sure.
of like what you see in all of these businesses that look like they're just like churning out nonstop content
Yeah.
and
Right.
marketing content, and it's all, and you can tell when you read it that it's AI wrote it.
Sure.
And so people are like, how can I keep up with that? How
Right.
can I compete with that? Do I have to do that if it doesn't feel like me? And so I also wanted to, because you and I,
Right.
we don't use that. Like you can, I think it really, like I just want to like give people kind of like hope that you don't have to go in that direction, in that route, to be seen and to be
Yeah.
visible and to feel more put together and professional and
Mhm. All that stuff does is create like an anxiety thread and a fear and a like a pick like it's like a, you know, a pick me energy of
yeah,
and I think that the only way to kind of, you know, to look at it and also really look at your own not get caught up
yes,
in the wave of it. And I know it's easier said than done, and I have gone through the ups and the downs of getting caught up and not feeling enough and feeling totally triggered and activated by all of the stuff that's getting pumped out and thinking like, oh my god, I'm not doing enough, I'm this, I'm that, and having full on meltdowns to finally just resigning to like, that's not my pace. No one's going to find me at that pace.
no,
Who's going to
right,
find me at that pace? Like, And I think we have to remember that too. Like the right people will find us when they're supposed to. And I feel like I'm in this place now where it used to freak me out and scare me to not feel like I was pushing out enough. Or I would see like the follower count drop or like the ups and the downs. But now I'm just like, bye. Like
Yeah.
if your attention span, if you have like a goldfish attention span and you can't be here, like
Yeah. You're
then
not,
you're not here. It's
we're
okay.
not compatible. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be an adjustment for a lot of people, but don't you feel like sometimes when you're just getting inundated with that like quick jarring like marketing stuff, like I scroll right by. I
Scroll right
can't.
by it.
I can't, or I'm like, whoa, like nope. Like so and it's interesting. It's definitely we're in for a ride with this
Yes.
Pluto and Aquarius stuff, and just I do think the a lot of those, Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries is also going to shift some of the getting lost in those things too. I do think that will help. I feel like people are going to get very visionary with how they're showing up and what their offering are, and people are going to feel into that too. Like I want to go that way. My body feels like it wants to move this way.
Yes. Yes. And when you're really listening to your body and to your intuition, it'll naturally block that stuff out. So don't feel like you have to get in that kind of game in order to have
Yeah,
to be seen or to be heard.
right.
Jennifer in the chat, Jennifer Flower Macy said, professionalism is overrated and disrupts authenticity.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I agree. I agree. I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things, I don't know how many times people will be like, "You're to this, you're to that." Like by whose standards?
Yeah, exactly.
Like by what
Exactly.
standards are we, like I don't know, like I'd rather have someone be very I mean, there's a difference between being direct and rude, I think, you
Yes.
know.
Absolutely.
But also, I would rather know on first blush if I'm like connecting with someone's true self than get in about like three or four courses in and be like, oh, oof, like this is wrong, like doesn't fit right. So it's a wild time to be like an oracle in this types of spaces. So
It's yes, it's definitely a different experience, and so I'm so appreciative of you coming on to
yeah.
share, your process through all of this because I don't know, um I feel like I've just been kind of quiet and just listening and
Hmm.
being like in the space of I don't know what my yes is yet, so I'm not going to, distract myself just to have some momentum.
Yes. Well, that's important. I think that's people forget like artists can go and creatives and mystics and magicians like you have to go through I call it it, like research and development periods. You have to go through incubation. Like you can't just keep pushing out and
No.
pushing out. Things lose their meaning and their momentum and their
Yes.
energy. Like
Yes.
I think the hardest thing sometimes though is the self-worth piece that's involved. Like if we're not being productive, we can feel like there's something inherently wrong with us or that we're not contributing. And I think that's where we have to be a bit kinder to ourselves. Like look at actual timelines of artists and their greatest pieces of work and what they've put
Mhm.
out there. And yes, there are prolific people, but they also have downtime and they also have moments of just deep listening, right? It's not just go, 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 push, 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 So, um, as much as like I love the creation process, I do know that there's moments in time where we have to like go inward, and it's not because we're hiding or we're withdrawing, but we're witnessing. Your role changes sometimes. You have to like witness what's happening around you, take in all the information, go get inspired, like consume things that are actually nourishing.
And what she's saying is not consuming things and being inspired by scrolling on your phone. Please go
Right. Like,
outside and touch a tree.
yeah,
Look
or
at the
go to a
sky.
museum, go
Go
to
to
museums,
yes,
go
like
like exist in your
in
actual realities, you
reality.
know? Like, yeah, do you have like so many places that like, recently I went to I'm in Tucson now, and I just went to like
It's so beautiful there.
the local museum of art, or going to the botanical gardens, or like just seeing,
Yeah.
what's being created out in the world, and not just through the lens of your phone.
Yeah.
Um I went to a recently, my partner and I and one of my dear friends, we went to a circus that was, in town. And one of the cool things about this particular one, because we've been to a couple recently, was there was no phones allowed during the performance. And
Love it.
literally you could feel the shift of the room, just focus, the energy, and it was so enjoyable, and again, I'm not anti-phone. I'm just like, you know, anti living just through this and not having those more broad connections in our immediate environments. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Our friend Jennifer Flower Macy is back in the chat, and they said capitalism has corrupted our sense of seasons of life and the natural rhythm of our existence.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, too much of everything
Yeah.
too much of anything is not great, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so we have to, again, remember like to find balance in everything that we're doing, especially if we're privileged enough to have balance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Ooh.
I know
Would you
it's a
like?
lot.
I know it's a lot. So I don't have your deck here. I do. I have the roast iconic. Can we talk about this little
Oh,
deck?
sure. Sure. Yeah. Um,
I picked this
so,
up at the Witch Summit, and I have to say, I'm obsessed with this.
oh, good. I'm glad.
You know what? It reminds me of like like a grown up version of my Magic 8 Ball.
Oh, I love that. Okay, cool.
I'm like, this is what my Magic 8 Ball would say to me. I always like pull the same card too. I always get the unicorn card.
Oh, that's a nice card. You got a sweet card.
I did my when I interview, I whenever I get a new deck, I always interview it. I always ask
Okay,
it, what are you here to teach me about the
nice.
world?
Hmm.
And I got privilege for that,
Ooh,
which I thought was
okay,
very interesting. And I was like, all right, I'm
cool.
fully here to have conversations about privilege. And then I think I asked it, like, what are you here to teach me about myself? And it was the unicorn card.
Oh, I love that.
And I can't remember my third question, but it was like such a great card that I got with it. But yeah, this deck will read you to filth, but like in the very best way.
I like to tell people it's a really good shadow work deck. Like, it's not a good deck for just like, does he like me? Like kind
Ew.
of stuff like that. But, well, because some people kind of get confused by this deck. They're like, I don't understand it. It's rude. I'm like, it's supposed to be. The the point of it is, actually the inception of that deck came from some friends of mine had a TV show on HBO. Actually, I think they just announced today that all the seasons are streaming now, but it's called Search Party. And
Okay.
and so the last season they created this whole thing about like the main character becomes kind of like a cult leader, and she has a tarot reader who um who's based on me, loosely based on me, but it's very funny. It's dark comedy. So they had asked me like, can you create a few cards that we're going to slip in with the deck? And that's the original cards were it was privilege, bitch, and oh my god, I can't remember what the other one was. Maybe it was empath, but it was like silly, right? But when I was doing it, I was like, oh my god, this needs to be a whole deck.
Yes.
So that's kind of the premise, because people are like, how
That's
did
great.
you even? And I was like, I don't know. I just kept thinking of like all the things that are like activating and like, things that upset me that I get bothered by. And, and that's kind of the inception and the conception of that, where it came from. I think, I don't know, I have like a few favorite cards. The simp card is like one of my favorites. It's so goofy, but yeah, there's
Let me see if I can
definitely
find it so we can show people where's that simp card? You were
the
just
simp
here.
card is
Oh, here it is. Everybody at home, please take a look at our simp card.
I love the simp card.
This might be the picture that I put up that
That's
it's
right.
like
Like, but it's so good for shadow work, right?
it
It's like,
is.
what am I
Love and
avoiding?
gaslight. I mean, these
Yeah.
are things that I think this deck is so important because people do take the spiritual healing spaces very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to name actual harm happening. They want to just like tiptoe and dance around it. And it's like,
Sure.
no, let's call it out and
Right.
let's call ourselves out and not take ourselves so seriously.
hmm Well, even like there's cards in there, like, the unicorn or legend, or like ones where like self-care, they're meant to be like, also the people who are hiding or feeling like they can't really express themselves, or
Oh, this was my other one. I got snack.
snack. Oh, nice snack. Yes. Like you're a
I was like, I'm
snack,
a unicorn and a
honey.
snack. And I was like, okay. I was like, thank you. I love this reading. I don't ever need to pick these cards up again.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, they're just hilarious, like in the way of, oh yeah, triggered. I mean, an influencer. They're just really silly. That was my fourth deck that I had made, and it, again, like I said, it just came out of a time of, because that was originally like 2022, the first incarnation of it. So, yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip
It,
being able to bring things out of your brain into the physical.
yes, yes, because you're not just a tarot reader. You are a deck create like multiple, all
Yeah.
different types of decks, which
Yeah. And all the
being able
art,
to,
except for the newest one, Adam, I've done all the artwork, except for the newest one. Just Adam did the artwork. So
and it's beautiful. I'm so excited for it. The Initiates Oracle that comes out May 5th,
May
May something,
4th.
May
May
4th.
4th.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
now so,
Yep.
so close.
So close. Yes. Here's the box. I'm really, really happy with it. We just got our a couple of like first runs in our hands to check out, which was really sweet.
It's
It's coming
so
out through
exciting.
Wiser. Yeah, it is exciting. And then um I'm just like anxious to get it out there too, but I have a book coming out with them in March of next year, called
Yes.
Magical Shielding, which is
Yes.
all about, psychic protection in the magical and digital world. Like, so just again trying to create tools that people can utilize,
I wish that book was
throughout.
out now, honestly. Like,
I do
I
too.
think we need that so badly, especially with everything that we're learning about right now and the ways that,
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
no, absolutely. I mean, that's again back to why I'm doing the apprenticeship program I'm
yes.
offering, is just any bit of a ripple effect that we can have, I think, during this time is helpful, because, even if we are screaming about things on the internet, there's so much censorship, and, it's hard to, like, there's so much coming at you through your inbox, through the apps. I think that the best way to kind of intentionally show up and then go out into our worlds is, how we're going to have to like be there for each other. Um, yeah. I mean, even right now, it's like everything's overwhelmed. It's like, what do you say? There's so much to
Yeah,
say.
there's so much to say. And I think it's also important that we stop being divisive
Mhm.
on the internet within our own community. Like, it's time to like stop fucking arguing in the comments with each other. And I need to be right and come together and,
I
see
think
what's
it's a lot of
happening and
pain. People just
yeah,
feeling like they're not being heard. And
yeah,
and like, it's the same thing with misreading texts. Like,
yeah,
I think if we truly have, issues or things with people, we need to like, you know, not just berate or try to spank people in comments, but like
yeah,
actually have conversations,
yes,
because tone and all of those things, and then also you don't know what that other person is doing, like
yeah,
off screen, or there's just a lot of there's so much of this is designed this way,
yeah.
like intentional. So um I think that's one of the things that shifted for me too in like the last, several months even, is just like, it's not that I don't care. I have very limited amount of energy, and what am
I
I doing with it? I can't argue with you want to be right, you want to have that feel, go for it. I have other things I need to utilize that for. That's
I have a
actually
2-year old that is
yeah,
like, I argue with a toddler all day. I am not about arguing with people in the comments. Like, I'm
right.
sorry, you do not have access to my energy in that way, and
Yeah.
you won't bother me.
Well, there's a lot of bots and stuff too. I think people just need to like, that's the other thing. Like, just do a little teeny investigating and you might be like, oh, that's not even a person. That's like a bot, or that's like intentionally done, and it's literally like consuming you.
Yeah,
So, I
yes.
don't know.
Stick
Other
with the
than
real
that,
people and
yeah, as much as you can,
as much as you
you know.
can. It's funny, the card that I pulled out of the Roast Iconic deck for us to chat today was stay in your lane.
Perfect.
I think is, we'll say that now, is a stay in your lane card. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah, eyes on your own paper. What are you
yeah,
doing? And that's the other thing, right? Like, there's a lot of times, like if you are actually focusing on what you're doing, you don't care what other people are like, like and also just like, I don't know, there's a lot of micromanaging that happens, or um, just when people feel, I have empathy, like when you feel out of control, there's a
yeah,
lot you want to control, but
yeah.
at what cost? So
So
yeah,
true.
it's all these like the joys of being human. I don't know. As I get older, I mean, I'm about to turn 49, and I just care less and less about things that used to matter so much. And but it's not because I care less about what's happening in the world. It's I just realize how ineffective it is for me, and it's not the best use of my energy, and I become like a liability versus a helping
Mm.
human, if I'm focused on all of the wrong things.
Oh, louder. Everything you just said, circle, underline, highlight. And
And
I
some people
also,
might be not like it, but that's okay.
yeah, we're not for, not for everybody. Do you want to speak really quick about, you just mentioned that you're 49,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of people have, especially younger people, this like fear that you have to have a lot of things done by a certain age.
There's a lot of
And
things
it's,
I did not do like until after my Saturn return, and nobody knew what a Saturn return was.
yeah,
Like
same.
when I right, like
Yeah,
think,
I'm 43, so
okay, perfect. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You're never too old to try anything. And
right.
also, you're never, I mean, if you look at any, like, there are so many examples out there. If we just go read a book or get outside of the internet to look at examples, like Helma F. Clint, like, didn't, create the masterpieces that we know now until her 40s, right? There's so many people that are doing things that are beyond an age of recognition, and there are so many things that I couldn't, I could never have made things that I've made in the last 10 years in my 20s. I didn't have the life experience. I didn't have the knowledge or the skill set. Um, ha- and I may have had like the audacity to do certain things, but they were never done, with grace or well. Um,
Mm, it's
there's
beautiful.
a beauty in the the aging process, even though it's a never ending battle with what's being projected at you. Um, I mean, like I just yesterday took for the first time ever, I'm like, I am almost 50 and I'm taking my first aerial class in a body that I don't recognize anymore. You know, that was challenging mentally, physically, emotionally, and I could not believe what came up for me. Um, Based on the noises from the outside world. And I think it's the same thing with achievements, right? The amount of people when, ever I would like, especially with my first deck or things like that, people be like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? If I had listened,
Oh yeah.
those things would be, oh, think of how many ideas get poof just because someone told you you were too old to do it or insinuated that it's so weird to me, like the ageism stuff of and the pressure to achieve like certain things at a certain age. Like, I don't know, go live. Go live. Also, the people who are like just to bring something out into the world, I really want to encourage people that there's so much that goes into making something. And I just was talking to a friend of mine who is also putting out a deck, and it's their first deck, and reminding them that there's also a grief process like that you go through when you create something from your brain and you put it out in the world, and you all of a sudden it's not yours anymore. Like, so there's so many layers to that, but I think, you know what, like, I don't know, I'm like, I'm gonna start doing burlesque at 50. I'm gonna do other things that, light me up because, you know for whatever your reason is, you have to do it for you. Do you want to live a life well lived that you can be proud of? Do you want to go, "Oh, do I have any regrets?" I don't want to have any regrets on my, whenever my time is like to go, because that is the guarantee, right? We're all on an exit out at some point. And you can either be pressured into looking a particular way, doing it by a particular age, and then finally coming to the conclusion that none of that matters at some point. So, and I know it's easier said than done. And if you're like me, I always have to learn the hard way. So, if
You
I
told
didn't
us
have to learn it the hard way, I would have done it a while ago.
it's true. Yeah. And I think that, having that lived experience of doing things the hard way is really what adds to your personal magic.
For sure. I think there's a curiosity that has been something that some people would be like, it's bravery. It's not, it's just pure curiosity a lot of the time. Um, and then dealing with the consequences after, which is not always the best way to live. It's not the smartest or the brightest, like logical way to live. But for me, that's the only way to
That
live,
logic.
is like
Yes.
following that. And yeah, and like, again, like just not wanting to have any regrets, you know, when I get to a certain point, like at the end of this existence. But I don't know. I just like when people, I'm not the one that's going to discourage you from creatively expressing yourself at any age. You're 80, you want to do it, do it. Like, I mean, that was one of the most inspiring things. I took a painting class. I mean, I know how to paint, but I wanted to meet people. And I remember taking a painting class, and there was a woman, she was 83 years old, and it was her first time taking a painting class because she had wanted to for years and years, and was mom of like 4 children, did all this stuff, did all the house duty, wife duties and all this stuff, and nobody encouraged her. And then finally it took her till 83, and she was like, I'm just gonna do it. And it was a hoot. It was like the best time hanging out with her, you know um but also just to show you that like you can start again at any time.
again and again and again. And
Hmm.
this is a great year for starting over and starting fresh and pivoting and scrapping things that,
Hmm.
like a lot of people don't want to abandon a sunk cost,
Right.
whether that's in a relationship or a project or a business or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be. And it's like, give that shit up. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to like that's a distraction from something that could be bringing you more joy and leading you further into your
Yeah.
purpose.
Well, and at the same token, there are people that won't do things because they're like, there's so much of that out there already. But I'm like, but
But
it's not in your
not from your,
voice,
yeah.
right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe if you feel a strong pull, like if I had listened to everybody who said, well, there's enough decks out there and stuff like that, like I don't know, like it feels like weird to me that you wouldn't want to encourage creative expression, for
Hmm.
anything. And what's the worst thing that happens? Oh my gosh, you made something. Oh, you know, uh, it's definitely an interesting time to be like humaning when I feel like we're coming out of one reality and going into another, and we're at this unique threshold where we get to decide if we're going to pivot or change. And I think there are a lot of us out there who we're part of building this new reality. It's not just about like the new world doesn't just appear, like it has to be created. So there's, I think, a lot of people right now who are feeling the pivot and the shift and the call to step into new roles or deeper expressions of themselves, or even just completely changing the way they show up. And I think it's beautiful. I think we're really lucky and fortunate. And even if like there's that meme of like the kid being born and it's like a Maury Povich thing, and it's almost like this again, like I did, like reincarnated or whatever, or um I don't know, there's so many themes like that I feel like, ugh, I'm doing this again. I don't know, I still am glad to be here, even if I want it to be my last go around.
Mm,
So yeah, we're all doing the best we can, I think, for the most part.
truly.
This is definitely one big initiation time, right?
Yes.
Like global initiation.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is a conversation for another day. And
absolutely.
probably not for a meta platform, but
No, definitely not. But thank you
but
for
if you're
having me. I
interested,
mean,
yeah,
it's
thank
been
you
a
so
wonderful
much
time.
for being here. And again, like for anybody who's on still with us or watching this later, you can still sign up for Ritual Craft tonight. It's
Night.
at
Yes.
7 p.m. Um,
Mountain.
Mountain Time. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m.
Pacific. Yeah.
Pacific.
Yes. And then there's 3 spots left for my group cohort for the Depth Oracle training. And I've had a few ask me, like, are you going to do it again? Yes, probably not till fall, winter. I have not figured out dates because it's really, I can't think about the fall, winter right now. But yeah, if you're interested in the Depth Oracle spring cohort, there's 3 spaces left. I have a free mentorship compatibility call available. I think there's some times left. The doors close though to sign up on February 14th. So soon.
Get in on it.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. And I hope you get your deck soon. You should get it
Me
today, I
too.
think. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like I'm gonna walk outside and it's gonna be like sitting there.
Sweet. Well, I can't wait to see what your first card, what it tells
Oh
you.
my gosh, I will definitely be posting about it. Again, we're talking about the Initiates Oracle, which is crazy also too because my brother just went to Egypt and for Christmas he brought me back like a beautiful scarab charm, which I
Oh,
need a chain
wow.
for it or I would have it on right now. Um, but yeah, it's got lapis in it and I thought that was really beautiful
Beautiful.
because my card, I don't know if you do a 12-month overview. Do you do a year ahead tarot spread?
For myself, yes.
Okay, so my card of the year was the Page of Swords. Would you like to
Ooh.
share your card with us?
My card of the year is oh my God. Wait, oh, like, which way do you do? Are you doing month by month or are you doing by
I do a
year?
month by month, but I pull one card in the center to represent the
Oh,
overall energy. So, like every month, whatever card I pulled, like my card of the year is like having a conversation.
I
So
mean,
that's
well,
like, that's
I
my
got the
like, my,
Hierophant. The Hierophant. Yeah.
oh,
Perfect.
naturally.
Yes.
That's
For the year.
amazing. All right. So
Yeah.
this is you are guided by the Hierophant this year. I'm guided by the Page of Swords because I'm like,
Perfect.
yeah, I'm just going to
I
talk
love it.
more, not be afraid of being on camera.
No, don't be afraid of being on camera. Be afraid of, if, I would say there's nothing to be afraid of unless it's our own limitations, you know. And those aren't even things to be afraid of,
That's true.
right?
That's where the gold is. And that's what I tell everybody. So we're taking my
Hmm.
own medicine this year. Thank you
I
so,
love it.
so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
I appreciate you. I hope you have a kick ass class tonight.
Thank you
And
so much.
all right. Thank you,
All right, so
everybody,
good
for
to
being
see you.
here. You
Thanks,
as well.
everybody. Take good care. Bye.
Bye.